What's going on, guys, and welcome to the Mindset Mastery in the Markets series for traders and investors. What this is going to turn into is a multiple series YouTube playlist eventually of the top tips I've observed over the last 5 years in terms of trading and investing psychology. Now, this particular series has two objectives in mind. The first one being to help every single one of you gain more consistency in the markets through practical application of mindset and human behavior principles. And the second thing here is to help every single one of you get funded or continue to scale the capital in your account as well. Now, this whole series is going to be a free YouTube series or a free video series helping you do those two things, to gain consistency and to gain funding ultimately, or to continue scaling your private capital as well. Now, I wanted to spend this particular video introducing the series. I also wanted to introduce myself as well. Some of you may know who I am, some of you may not. So my name is Bailouni, and I've been trading myself for the last 5 years or so now. Now, my start off to the journey was a little bit different to what most people's looks like. I pretty much had a curiosity 5 years ago or 6 years ago or so of wanting to know more about the financial markets and wanting to know more about trading. I think initially from an uncle. An uncle sort of passed on that curiosity to me. And then I went off on LinkedIn and I used a free LinkedIn trial to message and cold message a lot of people on LinkedIn. I messaged a lot of people who were in the industry. That's how I sorted the names from the finance section. And there was one gentleman in particular who responded to me. Actually, there were two people who responded to me. But one gentleman in particular named Mike responded to me. And for the next 2 years, he mentored me one-on-one. And he passed on to me his technical knowledge and his knowledge about the markets. And it was in that mentorship and that relationship with Mike that really kickstarted my trading journey. I can say with certainty that I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for Mike and for his guidance and his mentorship. Ultimately, what I hope this YouTube video turns into is a mentorship between myself and yourself, where I can do what Mike did to me for you. And by the way, the other gentleman who responded, all he said was read a book called Trading in the Zone by Mark Douglas. And I'm sure a lot of you guys have probably already read that book. And I really resonate with Mark Douglas's stuff. Ultimately, though, the things I'm going to pass on to you, I believe will give more of a practical application to what Mark Douglas talks about. And I will offer some solutions to things like the boom and bust cycle and all those things that Mark Douglas speaks about. So I've been trading for the last 5 years now, like mentioned, and 2 years into that journey, it was about the 2-year mark, I really recognized that where I needed to gain my edge was through the mental component. I realized that once I knew my entry points, once I knew where I was going to, put my stop loss and my take profits, all the things that Mike taught me from a technical perspective, I needed to go off and take care of the one thing that would stop me from doing that, pretty much. And that was myself. So I went off and, as well as studying under other trading mentors and gaining more technical knowledge, I really ventured into the human behavior and psychology department and studied under a great mentor named Dr. John Demartini. He was named the top human behavioral specialist in 2020. So I took a lot of what John passed on to me, and at that time, I directly applied it to my trading to help me improve as a trader. Now, it wasn't long after that where people started asking me, what am I doing different in terms of the psychology and human behavior component? And I started to do more one-on-one stuff and help, people I knew out in terms of the trading psychology stuff. And I started with what I knew, I started with who I knew, and that started to grow. I started to do more coaching, more one-on-one coaching. And then ultimately I started doing more consulting for trading education companies, for prop firms and that type of stuff as well. So what I'm going to be passing on to you guys in this YouTube series is not only the summary of what I learned over the 5 years in my own personal trading journey, but it's also a composite of what I learned from different mentors. And it's also a composite of what I learned from some of the best minds in human behavior and psychology. And what I promise to you guys is that I'm going to distill the principles of human excellence, I like to call it, into a very practical way and a very practical application to your trading. And I assure you that if you take on board what I'm going to pass on to you guys and you implement that into your trading, you will see an improvement to your bottom line. you will gain more consistency in your trading, and ultimately you'll be put in a better position to gain and to scale and to maintain more and more capital as a trader as well. So I really look forward to jumping into the next video where I'm going to break down the importance of mastering your mental game in trading. And I look forward ultimately to the rest of the videos I put out.